Hi, Skip here. Hey, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about websites. This is a subject that I think a lot of people have websites or aspirations for websites for various reasons, but they don't necessarily understand the bigger picture and how to make them work. There's millions of websites out there, but most of them are highly underused or ineffective. Can we say that? Let's title this Mystery, Mistakes, and Magic of Websites. First, the mystery. It's a mystery why there could be so many websites and so much effort put into posting websites, and ultimately nothing happens. People want to monetize their websites. They have no idea. They never make a penny. They have a blog and no one ever reads them. There's various reasons to have websites, but are they ultimately serving the purpose that you'd intended? The mistakes are in lack of planning or understanding the bigger picture and how websites really work. And there is combining mistakes and mysteries. There's so many people that think that they have to go to the experts to build a website and to be effective, and that's not necessarily true. The magic of it all is when you finally figure it out and when you understand how it works and what a website really can mean to you. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit, and this is one. There's a lot of other things, strategies, and various things that I'll address in other videos. But I really wanted to touch on this a little bit because it gets, I think, not quite enough attention. I've made reference to this line many times because it's so true and it's so powerful. In the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Dr. Stephen Covey, the greatest line I think in most any book I've ever read is to begin with the end in mind. Know what it is you're doing, what's the purpose, and how you're ultimately going to get there. What's the plan, and beyond that, you have a plan and then a strategy to carry out the plan. There's a lot to websites if you really want to think about it. We live in a day when there's like Wix is a popular format or platform for building websites. There's a lot of advertising on it. It's becoming fairly popular. And the average person can go in and build a website and have some pretty pictures and various things. But then they ask themselves why nothing ever happens from there and why there's so many dormant websites sitting out there that are just completely ignored and never really produce anything other than the practice of actually putting together some thoughts on a digital page. So let's look at this a little bit. Let's look at websites and understand. Number one, who is interested in this video and the subject of websites, and where do you go with that? Number one, I think there's an awful lot of people that could have use for a website. Everything from the individual or a couple, for example, that they travel and they want to keep their friends posted and whatnot. So it's a small circle of reference that they're going to enjoy the website and the postings there and whatnot. And that's completely 100% legitimate. They may never make a dime off the website, but it's fun to have a place they can capture their thoughts and share with their friends. So there's that kind of thing, the social aspect of a website that never does anything more than keep people informed. And again, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm not disparaging that in any way, shape, or form. And then there's the websites that hope to teach people something, to share information, a blog, where the idea is that you have some thoughts that you want to share. Maybe you're an aspiring writer and you want to be able to express your thoughts in various ways throughout blogs. Maybe you're one who wants to do video blogging, vlogging, I think is what they call it. So you want to do videos that can share information. Again, nothing wrong with that at all. And if you never make a penny off of it and you didn't intend to make any money off of it, no problem. Knock yourself out, have a great time, and enjoy the process and learn as you go and get more proficient at actually creating those websites. So that's all good. But here's the deal. The majority of websites, I would say the absolute majority, are websites that are built with the intention of actually generating income. And, for most people who know me at all know that I've been on the road for about 9 years. And in that time, I've been I couldn't tell you how many different cities. And in every encounter, I talk with a number of business people, and now hundreds and hundreds of business people that I've talked to, about their business and about what they're doing and how they enjoy their business and whatnot. And always websites come into it. The people will say that they have websites. But when it comes down to it, the absolute majority of those who do have websites aren't making any money. Those who are making any money on websites are generally doing it because they handed out business cards. And they only hand out business cards that attract somebody that's already purchased from them. So the number of people that are engaged in their website is really minimal when you think about it. When you go to a trade show and you're talking about how many people, depending on the nature of the website or of the event, how many people will go by a particular booth and have conversations, but the only people you ever capture information on are the people who actually purchase from you. Well, you're missing it big time. The reality is that people have business cards. Well, what's a business card for? Fact is that most business cards are highly underused. I have stacks of business cards from people I have no idea who they are, but they gave me a business card at some point. Well, they might have their website on it, and I may at some point go in and look and see what that's all about. But the fact is that if you're using websites, and if you're using business cards, and you're only giving it to people who have already purchased from you, you're talking about a very limited audience. That's a good audience. There's nothing wrong with that to that extent. I mean, nothing wrong with capturing that information and following up and creating a clientele and a follow-up process with that clientele. Nothing wrong with that. But here's the interesting part, is that that's only a fraction of what you could be doing. If you built that website and you've monetized it correctly, and you learn how to really make the most of your website, there's a much, much bigger picture out there than what you're capturing. The reality is you should never waste a contact. There are ways to build on relationships and include people who may never have purchased from you but could because they've expressed some interest in your market, your niche, or your product. There is so many ways to do this, and they are largely ignored. And again, the majority of business people I talk to have a very small amount of business that actually, where the website actually contributes to their business. Now what they're doing is they're using their website as a brochure. And it's a brochure that only gets handed out basically to the people who have already purchased. Well, brochures need to be in the hands of those who you want to attract for the possibility of a purchase. You can hand out all the brochures you want, and a few people will look at them, and most of them will end up in the trash. A digital brochure in the form of a website is somewhat enduring, something you can keep track with. It's hard to reprint brochures and keep them current and without a large expense, but you can go in and tweak a website and keep it current very easily. So if you want a really effective ongoing brochure, you can use a website for that purpose. But there's still the question of how do you fully monetize that to really take advantage of what you have. Well, here's the truth. The majority of websites have certain ingredients. They might have your picture, they might have the picture of the product, explanation of who you are and how your product works and all those kinds of things. That's all fine. But first of all, you need to recognize that a website is an opportunity to create a brand. The brand being yourself. Understand that in sales and marketing, the last thing you want to do, and this is going to sound completely stupid and the opposite of the truth, but hang with me for a second. The last thing you want to do is just go out there and sell your product. If you sell yourself, if you establish yourself as a brand, as a credible source, and you can use your website to do that, your website becomes a home base. It becomes a foundation to your business. It becomes that place where people get to know you, where you establish yourself as a brand. You do that and you can sell anything. People will buy from you if you've established yourself as a brand and a reliable source. Reliable source in that you are one who provides information and education. You're an expert in your field. You know a lot about what you're doing. Well, people can gain confidence in you and who you are if you are that person. You're knowledgeable and passionate about your business. They're going to be attracted to you, and now they can do business, and you can generate a lot of passive income by bringing people to your site that get to know you and subsequently purchase from you. Now that's something that can work for you 24/7. But here's still a big question. The big question is traffic. Where do you get the traffic? How do you drive traffic to the website? Here's the fact. The fact is that most people, the most traffic they ever get is through the business cards that they handed out. Well, that's very limiting because you've only got so many hours a day, so many cards, and so many people you can actually hand them to depending on your circumstance. That's a very limited audience. But how would you like to, in the course of a day, instead of handing out as many cards as you can have people that you might interact with. How would you like to, instead of those low numbers, how would you like to contact thousands, 20, 50,000, 100,000? How would you like to be in contact with literally thousands of people who might look at your website and make a decision as to whether that's a place that they want to interact with? If you're making thousands of contacts, it's possible to utilize that. Now that's called traffic. That's generating mass traffic. Can you do that? Absolutely, you should be able to do that. Now, one more step farther. It's not just mass traffic. It's mass targeted traffic, reaching people who have already expressed an interest in your market niche and the products that you have within that niche. So how do you reach those? Those are the things that you want to go to. So now let's go back to that original comment. Begin with the end in mind. What do you want to accomplish? Do you want to do a lot of business? Do you want to build a long-term stable business? Do you want to have a 24/7 system, a blueprint and a system that feeds you constantly, that all you got to do is kind of keep up with it a little bit and tweak it here and there, put out a little advertising and whatnot and keep it going and watch the return and watch your bank account grow? All that is possible. It's all possible, but you first have to perceive that in your mind. You have to understand that it's possible, and not just think about the website, but think about that, the tools that surround that, and the methods used to drive traffic. Traffic's the key. There's so many little secrets here, including things like, when you go online and you're shopping for some shoes, and all of a sudden everywhere you turn you're getting ads for shoes. That's partly done in a program called AdRoll, and there's other programs like it that are pennies on the dollar for marketing, and that spread that information out there, that track people that visit your site and whatnot. There's lots of ways to do that to get that expanded market. Well, those are not just big business secrets. Those are things that are readily available to the average individual if you want to tap into it. So depending on your ambitions, what you want to accomplish in your website, most websites have far more potential if they're done right than most people than you can imagine. One more thing before I kind of shut down here. I'm looking at about 12 minutes into this, so I'll kind of keep this. I'm not going to go much further here. I don't want to tie you up for a long time. But anyway, the concept of building a website, you can go on and build yourself a website in a program like Wix. WordPress is a great platform, lots of options. There are three key areas. The IT guy that can build a website technically. There's the design guy that can make it look pretty and attractive and effective. And then there's the marketing guy that knows how to use those tools and that product to actually reach people and target and build your business. So there's several aspects to this. I'm going to leave in my comments, I'm going to leave a link. And it's possible that if you want to learn about those things and actually learn step by step how to build a website that takes all of that into consideration, where you no longer need any of those experts, where you can learn step by step how to carry out every bit of that, become completely independent online and build something. Now, who am I talking to? I'm talking to anybody that wants a website, and I don't care if you just want to blog or your real goal is to really monetize that website for long-term gain. Whoever you are, whatever business you're currently in, this applies. So I want you to take a look at it. Take a look at my website, see where I'm at with it, and some ideas that I've incorporated. That'll be on my comments, and then also there'll be a link on there to show you how you can step by step yourself learn the secrets, learn how to, and get the incentives and whatnot to really do something with it, and build something that you become an independent entrepreneur in control of your business, where you're going, and how much money you make. So all that said, now I'm up to about 13 minutes, 14 minutes here, so I'm running a little longer than I hoped to. But there's going to be a lot more of this. There's going to be some information on my website, a whole section on there that addresses the websites and some of the important factors. There's lots of information I have for you on the subject, and I'm also going to do a video on understanding website strategies and that kind of thing. So all of that said, check out the links that I put on there. If you would, do a like, a share. I love it when somebody drops a comment. So all those things I will ultimately be rewarding. So I thank you for hanging in there with me, and my goal is to keep this under 15 minutes, and I'm just a little bit under that. So anyway, let's keep in touch, and thank you for stopping by, and we'll talk to you again soon. God bless.